Alright folks, my name is Freyn and today I'm going to be talking about a couple of games in the Churchill Mk.VII. For anyone who hasn't played this, it is a British 4.7 heavy tank and well, it's one that I hate. I mean, I really hate this thing. I do have a reasonable number of games in it, but I just do not have fun in this tank. Anyway, for this first battle, I am on Advance to the Rhine, as you can see. It is Conquest, and I've already skipped the first couple of minutes of slowly crawling my way across the map to get us into this. It's not a fast tank. This is its top speed of 20 kilometers an hour. And so, usually, the enemy are going to be everywhere before you. It's got a pretty terrible gun for the tier. It's a 75mm, just like all the Americans and the American Jumbo, but it only fires the solid shot rounds. Meaning it's very difficult to sort of get a reliable one-hit kill on your opponents. Even with the solid shot buff, it doesn't do fantastic spalling. And of course, you're going to struggle to get after your opponent when you don't inevitably one-shot them. That's the first target down, and I'm just trying to get around towards the cap when I see, well, a Puma wedged himself on a few tank traps. I'm not quite sure where he was trying to go, but he's down. That's kill number 2. And if he was mobile, that might have actually been a reasonable threat. Of course, I do have an ally behind me that can help me out with that, but I say reasonable threat simply because it's so mobile it can constantly outrun my gun. It's going to struggle to get through my side armor, it's going to struggle to get, well, it shouldn't get through my frontal armor at all, but it can easily get my engine. And I'm pretty sure it can also get through the rear of my turret if it wants to, so if it can just keep outrunning my gun, there's not much I can do. But he is down, and I have made it around towards the cap. We know that something's there, and not just that wreck, because they've recently taken the point. The aircraft are strafing a medium and tank destroyer at the cap, so I know there's still a few things around. And I am in a down tier, so my armor should cope with anything that's in front of me at least. So stuck down. I've still got this T-34 behind me, hopefully he'll stop me from getting flanked. But I can't see any signs of this medium, and it's a bit troubling. He doesn't seem to be coming around behind me, or this T-34 would have engaged something by now. We've got another one already on the cap, he's not being shot at. So it's either gone down that little curvy road and tucked in, or it went this way, where there's a few track marks, and headed around the corner. There's a few things being marked up around the park area, but this is where it all gets a bit messy. First we have this Chaffee, so failed one shot there, solid shot, struggling a bit with that. And now, not that I can see where it came from, but shot into the rear of my turret. So I need to pick a side that I'm going to go to. The Chaffee's the more mobile, so I'd like to get rid of him first. I'm of course missing my loader now, so can't quite get that gun reloaded in time when he slips past. And he's a lot more manoeuvrable than me. So much so, I really have no hope here in going after him. By the time I can turn around and chase him down, he'll be long gone, especially through that smoke. Fortunately, this Panzer IV hasn't noticed me, and I can get a shot into his rear, take him down. It's not the one that shot me though. And there we go, there's the others. There's at least 2 around this corner. Actually somehow works better from the rear, I find, with this gun. Through the engine. Now, I was kicking myself here that I didn't go for the mobility kill. I tried to go for the ammo for a one shot and it didn't explode, so he got away. but it's actually pretty fortunate because if I'd hit his engine instead, his gun would still be active and I wouldn't have been able to turn around and disable that Marder. Another chappie, it's a different one to before. Managed to get him, but see, now I've got injured opponents on both sides and I need to commit to one of them, and even committing to one takes a long time. If I was more mobile, I could have rushed down this guy, killed him, and then turned around and come back for the Marder, instead of having to stop where I was, turn, and take out the Marder's gun. Speed is everything in this game, in my opinion. Armor is very much the secondary. It certainly helps, but it's all about the payoff, and when you have a little too much armor that it reduces your mobility. Yeah. I know a lot of people who love the Churchill, but I've just never really gotten on with it. Certainly not the Churchill 7. The Churchill 3 and the Churchill 1 do a little better because their gun is more appropriate for their tier. But the Churchill 7 has never gone well for me. But now that Panzer IV is down, I'm pushing my way down this road. I want to fully clear one direction if I can. I would have gone back and tried to hunt down that Marder. He's only just died. But if there was anything else down this road, I would be immediately turning my back on them. I knew nothing was coming from the other direction because they would have to go through all the allies on the cap to get to me. So I was safe from that way. So I need to focus my attention in the other direction. I don't want to get too far away from the cap. I am slow, I can't really get back to it if suddenly everything goes wrong and they start capping. So holding off here, just looking for targets, and I should really lock my gun in place while I rotate my camera. Gun was actually working quite well for me this game. Quite a few one-shots. I still don't really like it, and it often struggles, but who knows, sometimes things work out. Just have one of those lucky days. This flak bus just peeking over the ruins. It's gonna take a while to dissect with this gun, especially when my shot seems to go straight through the gap between the gun and the gun shield. Something else down here, just taking out my tracks. Make that two things. So, kill one. Don't quite have a line of sight in the other thanks to this train car, but I've been suicide bombed by a 109. That's 9 kills, and on to game number 2. And unfortunately that is how pretty much every good battle I've ever had in this tank has ended. With a bomb. Not always the good ones, often the bad ones as well, but every good battle I've ever had in the Churchill 7 has ended with a bomb. Now again, I've cut forwards a few minutes in this battle due to how slow the tank is. And another great example of how slow it is that I've just made it to the sea cap and I'm already being shot in the back by a T-34. Now I can't pen his frontal plate. There are actually 2 rounds for this gun. This round I'm using has got a higher flat penetration, but slightly worse against angles, and the other round is the opposite way around. Better angled pen, lower flat pen. But as far as I remember, I haven't checked while making this, I probably should, you know, be organised. But as far as I remember, neither of the rounds has enough pen to get through the T-34's upper plate, so that's why I'm bringing out the one with the higher flat pen. Especially when I'm facing Germany, the extra flat pen will help on some of those higher armoured Panzer IVs. But I've pushed on through, I'm not going to stay around on the cap. I get bombed enough as it is, I don't really want to stay on the cap. Keep mobile. Certainly with a tank this slow, if I don't keep moving, I'm never going to get towards a battle again. And I found a KV-1, which... this is going to take a while. Slow dissection of crew. Just got to hope that at some point he straightens himself up, that he doesn't know about angling his tank. I'll go for the breach. And keep going for the crew. Just alternate between the crew shot and the disabling shot on some of his modules instead. Gunner, breach, maybe track, back to gunner. It takes a few shots to get rid of a KV with this gun.
Most of the strategic zones are captured.
Now we're already losing quite a few players around the map. Everything that was in the town with me is now dead. And I'm out on this side all on my own. And I already know there's something coming up that hill. There's an ASU-57 leaving their spawn. So once again we start to see some of the problems of the Churchill, where its speed holds it back and you really just can't commit to a target. This ASU-57 is obviously a lot faster than me. If I decide to push him now, just go straight for him, even if this KV-1 wasn't here, if I go for the ASU-57, he's got cover, and he's fast enough that he can just continually run away from me. I will never catch him. My only hope of killing him is when he's in the open and I can shoot at him repeatedly. When he's behind cover and we have to sort of play ring around the rosy, it's not going to work. Sooner or later an ally will show up, and that's what's happened here. T-34 is showing up behind me. His first shot actually went through my turret roof and fortunately didn't kill my gunner, but did kill two of my other crew. The ASU-57 has set me on fire. I managed to get rid of the T-34's gunner though, so I can focus my attention that way on the ASU. He could have backed off when he saw my turret turning. He could have hidden behind the rock. Then I wouldn't be able to kill him. The T-34 could take a shot at the back of my turret when his gunner came back. Yeah, it's frustrating not being able to chase down one tank. And you get stuck frequently in these situations. Even on the more close quarters maps, like Abandoned Factory, say, you often find that an enemy will simply see you around the corner and realise that they're fast enough to just drive away and you can't chase them down. So they can just hang around, sort of taunting you that you can't do anything until they get back up. It is an incredible assist tank. Not necessarily getting the assist medal, but sort of assisting your allies, because you're never really going to be dealing the killing blow. You are a threat because they can't reliably kill you, but you're just kind of herding the enemy into your allies. That's why I've chosen these two specific games here, because these were the ones where I actually managed to get a decent kill count. When I eventually managed to hit the turret cheek on the T-34. I can't see anything else coming up the hill, so I want to go back into C. They've capped it while I was out here. Thankfully those bombs were quite far away from me. I can start heading back into C, hopefully without getting shot in the back again. I saw the hull of a Sherman disappear around that corner, so I know roughly where the enemy is. Or at least one of them, there's bound to be more than one. Again, they will be faster than me, they will be able to get away. In all likelihood, by the time I get over here, they'll have repositioned. And my knowledge of their location, it will be completely lost. That's, of course, if they don't hear me coming. Italy is really not very good for sneaking around. No, pick a direction. Find my target. Thankfully he's not gone too far. Get his engine first to make sure that he can't get away. Otherwise, I'm never going to get this kill. As I said in the last game, sometimes it works out. Don't hit the engine. But, yeah, the majority of the time that's the shot I want. Unless I'm being shot from multiple directions and then I need to get rid of the gun as fast as possible. If I've only got one target, engine is the thing I want to hit the most. Stop them from retreating. I'm absolutely, well, not absolutely impervious, but I'm incredibly difficult to kill from the front. It's just going to take me a while to bring down my opponent, so the less they can run away, the better. If I can keep them in that frontal arc, things will go a lot better for me. But we're doing well. Let's just recap the C point. We'll skip ahead a bit. We've taken C and back out, heading for these rocks. Somewhere where I can try and surprise the enemy. They can't see me in advance and run away. Like I've seen a Sherman headed out this way. Actually fired a bit too far forwards. Again, I wanted his engine, but I ended up with his driver. And then we can finish him off with a second round to the side of the turret. Oh well, just under the turret really. Aside from the speed problems, the gun kind of poses a few problems for me as well. So you're not going to be dealing one-shots or even reliable disables as often as you'd like. If you just hit off to the wrong part of the tank because it's a moving target, then you're possibly not going to deal the damage you want. As a result, you want as many opportunities to shoot them as possible, so you need them, you know, sort of exposed and in the open, which normally means with a bit of range to it. So if you're close up, there's, you know, they're likely to get around your flank, or they're likely to find some cover because you're in a sort of close quarters urban environment. So you want something at further range a bit where they can't run. But the gun doesn't really have enough pen to do those longer range shots, so it has another set of problems. Now, it's not to say it's a bad tank. If you are someone who sort of struggles to have these high kill games a lot, you know, if you're a fairly new player to the game, having the extra armor will usually allow you to live long enough to get a couple of kills, which, you know, might be perfect for you. Yeah, we all have to start somewhere. Players are always going to be new. Some people have different playstyles, and simply having a tank that can take a hit is probably going to be better for a lot of players. But this tank is definitely not for me. I'm much more on the side of mobility. I've played the game for a couple of years now. I know my way around the maps. I know my way around the tanks. And having this speed restriction makes it very hard for me to get involved in enough battles that I feel I can comfortably influence the game. Well, having something with a lot of speed means I can get around the map, I can, you know, join in as many fights as possible, I can shoot as many tanks as possible. I can use my map knowledge to try and reduce the amount that I'm getting shot so that I don't need the armor as much. I think very heavy armored tanks like this are... how to phrase this? It's not really a beginner tank, it's certainly more beginner friendly. I think beginners will get the most out of them. It's not to say they're bad tanks, but they are held back a bit in just how much you can influence the game. So they're good for someone who is starting out or who is struggling. But as seasoned players are probably going to find a little less usefulness out of them. But of course, everyone has their own playstyles. If you just want to get in and brawl, this can probably work quite well for you. I would recommend the American Jumbo over the Churchill. For one thing, it has turret armor on all sides that's very thick, so if something does appear behind you, you can turn your turret without the danger of now exposing your weak point. If I turn my turret around in the Churchill,
Most of the zones are
I'm now exposing weak armor in both directions. Other than that, the Jumbo is also faster, and due to the addition of the APHE rounds, because it's using a 75mm gun as well, but it has those APHE rounds which enable it to more frequently secure a kill. Certainly secure a kill faster before the opponent is going to get a chance to get away. Or even just before too many of them build up. But now this video draws to a close. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It's been my greatest, I think. And of course we just have time for... There we go. No Churchill game ends without a bomb. I'll see you next time.